We generally treat music as a cultural experience, a sequence of notes designed to entertain us, evoke a memory, or shift a mood. But beneath the melody, music operates as pure physics. It is a series of invisible atmospheric pressure waves vibrating rapidly through the air and physically striking the human body. The ODTOE framework classifies this physical interaction as a sound operator. The vibration penetrates the observer, influencing internal biological systems to reconcile with the external frequency. Music acts as a physical calibrator. Every note exerts pressure on the rhythm of the listener, attempting to pull internal biological loops into alignment with the incoming sound wave. In 1955, the International Organization for Standardization made an administrative decision. They locked the frequency of the note A at exactly 440 Hz, establishing a permanent tuning baseline for global music. This choice was driven by pragmatism. Orchestras were competing for brighter, more piercing sounds in concert halls, and standardizing a round number like 440 made manufacturing electronics and instruments much easier. The engineers and committees who drafted this rule focused entirely on the machinery of broadcasting and performance. They completely bypassed the acoustic realities of the human body. This raises a specific physical problem. What happens if the frequencies dictated by our global broadcasting standard are out of phase with human biology? This means the pitch standard governing nearly every modern instrument was optimized for radio technology and manufacturing, rather than the physiology of the person listening. To understand how sound interacts with us, we have to measure the listener. The human body operates as a system of continuous biological loops, each cycling at a specific, characteristic frequency. The primary baseline for these loops is the cardiovascular system. A healthy human heart at rest beats roughly once per second, giving it a frequency of exactly 1 Hz. Moving up to the nervous system, a relaxed human brain produces alpha rhythms that cycle continuously at roughly 8 Hz. In acoustics, 2 oscillating objects achieve pure resonance when their frequencies are octave multiples. If you take a base frequency and multiply it exactly by 2, the resulting sound waves lock perfectly in phase with the original. Human biology operates on strict, measurable mathematical frequencies, and those frequencies are built to resonate with proportional external forces. This diagram tracks the octave multiples of our biological baseline. By multiplying a 1 Hz heartbeat through consecutive octaves, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on, the sequence lands precisely on 256 Hz in the musical spectrum. We can apply the exact same math to the nervous system. Multiplying the 8 Hz alpha rhythm through its own octaves perfectly overlaps and locks into that exact same 256 Hz mark. Setting the musical note C to exactly 256 Hz creates perfect mathematical overlap with both the heart and the brain. To achieve this alignment, the reference note A must be tuned to roughly 432 Hz. But the 1955 ISO standard breaks this alignment. Tuning A to 440 Hz pushes the note C up to 261.6 Hz, knocking it visibly out of phase with our biological rings. This specific gap creates a measurable delta mismatch. It acts as a constant state of mathematical friction between the external sound operator and our internal loops. To the ear, a 5 Hz discrepancy is barely noticeable. But at a cellular level, standardizing music to A equals 440 subjects our biology to a chronic, non-zero mathematical dissonance. Long before oscilloscopes or standardization committees existed, ancient traditions instinctively sought this kind of biological and environmental resonance. Gregorian chants, for example, were explicitly tuned to the acoustic resonant frequencies of the stone temples where worshippers gathered. In Indian classical music, there is no fixed global standard. Musicians actively tune their instruments to the specific fundamental frequency of the singer's own body. Even Western classical composers sought this alignment. In 1884, Giuseppe Verdi formally petitioned to anchor tuning near 432 Hz, arguing it was the most natural pitch for the human voice. Humanity spent centuries intuitively aligning its music to the physical body, a practice we abandoned for the sake of bureaucratic standardization. The ODTO framework offers a direct solution to this mismatch. We can simply retune our digital instruments and synthesizers down by a fraction of a semitone. This slight downward shift leaves the melodies and internal harmonies of a song completely intact. It merely drops the absolute pitch to anchor the note C precisely at 256 Hz. By making this mathematical correction, we eliminate the biological friction. Every piece of music played at this tuning becomes a coherence operator, operating in phase with our vital signs. Anchoring the scale to exactly 256 Hz locks the music into the observer's own internal geometry. At this specific frequency, the music functions as a mathematical extension of the human pulse.